I ran into you last week at Agape during the Way of Meditation, and she said, I'm going to get sold, and I'm like, yes! Oh, yes! I love you. I love you. And I love you. And I love you. And I love all of you. I really do. I truly do. I truly do. Thank you, Ben, Gabe, Jesse, David, Brian. We are so grateful. You guys are the best. You really are. And I just... We rock here at Soul Center. Good morning, Soul Center. Good morning. Oh, good, happy summer, beautiful day. I'm just so grateful to be here as we celebrate the closing of the month and our Free to Choice month. We know that being free to choosing is the mechanism that we travel through life. It is one of the key aspects of our spiritual evolution, is to choose aright. But before we go there, I just want to say welcome to Soul Center, part of the Agape Association of Communities, an affiliate of Agape, and the teachings, again, as Patricia was saying, Dr. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, and the golden thread of truth that is found in all religions in the mystical teachings. I'm not talking about the dogmas or the misinterpretations of Scripture. There's lots of misinterpretations of the Hebrew Bible, the Christian Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, all the shamanistic teachings, even the Tao Te Ching. There's erroneous interpretations, and our job in this spiritual community is to know the truth teachings. Right. And the truth teachings come from a feeling. You feel the truth. An aha moment is when every part of your beingness, including your conscious mind, and remembering your conscious mind, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm awake. And that's your conscious. We say you're conscious, as opposed to when we're talking about your consciousness. Your consciousness is that evolutionary impulse of how we're evolving the conscious mind. And then we have the subconscious, and we have the superconscious. And our job in our community is to tap into the superconscious. And when we tap into the superconscious, which is your soul consciousness, you bring that and matriculate it down into your conscious mind, and when you have that aha, you've realized a truth teaching, and that is what mystics do, and we are part of a mystical community. The Agape Association of Communities is a mystical community. Our job is to elicit that, to exploit that in our everyday lives. So as you hear us talk from time to time, these are practices that we bring in and we exercise them because we came to Earth. This is just one big amusement park. It's an amusement park, and we all got an e-ticket. But somehow we forgot. Sometimes we think we've got an F ticket, and because sometimes things get a little effed up. And that's just when we're having a bad day. And we in our community, it's very important. Some people say we want to get real about things, which mean, when they say they want to get real, they mean that they really want to get into the lowercase reality of where things get fudged up in the world, and start believing in erroneous information or lack or limitation or lies or fear or separation, as they were talking about, Gary, in the reading there. Because separation from the divine is the only thing that messes up your e-ticket. And so taking that 10 minutes in the morning to allow yourself to get into that prayer field and know that the prayer field is an evolutionary field that takes you into mysticism. First, prayer starts out in a way where maybe I'm praying for something. So in the lowest vibration of prayer, I'm going, oh God, I need more money, I need a home, I need a job, whatever it is. It's like, but in our community, when we address those situations, we use prayer in a particular way that takes us, as it said in the reading, up into that vibrational field of infinite possibility. But we start sometimes in that place where it's like, oh, I need something. My needs aren't being met. And sometimes in old paradigm thinking, we're beseechingly asking for something to come forward. And so that's just the beginning of prayer. Ceaseless prayer is where we're headed. Mystics live in a ceaseless state of divine awareness, a ceaseless state of meditation, a ceaseless state of prayer, where the answer to the prayer and the question of the prayer are in one place. You experience a spontaneous combustion. Like before you even are aware of what you were going to pray for, you've walked into it and like, oh my God, the question and the answer are right here together and I'm experiencing it. That's where we're headed. And on that evolutionary flow, we start to play around with it. And that's where this is part of the amusement park. We want to have fun. This is supposed to be fun. Now, sometimes we come across and we have health challenges, or we have a financial challenge, or we have a relation challenge, and probably the biggest one of all is relationships challenge, because we fall prey to that idea that, oh, so-and-so did this, and oh, they're so messed up. And it's like, no, that can't happen. We live in a reflective universe. The universe is so exquisite. God, the divine intelligence that created everything. So we know a few things based on the principles and practices of our teachings. God is good, which is an understatement. God is good, bliss, grace, beauty beyond your wildest dreams. That is where we know this as an idea, but are we experiencing that in our beingness? So that is who we are. We also know that we're created in the image and likeness of God, which has nothing to do with our gender, our race, our religion, our age. Nothing to do with any of that. There's a beautiful spark of light. And one of the best things we will ever do in our lifetime is get to know who we are as a divine emissary, harbinger, messenger of the Most High. There are some people that say we are all angels incarnate. Now, some people's behavior would be contrary to that. But that is only coming from a separation from the divine. But the intelligence, the divine intelligence, and remembering that there are aspects of the divine, there are the laws that govern the universe. God is so brilliant beyond our wildest. I mean, just when you think about the millions of things that are happening in your body right now, the breath you're breathing, the sights you're seeing, the sounds you're hearing, all the functions that are happening without you having to think about it at all. It is fascinating what is happening in the world, how the breezes blow and how sometimes the earth rumbles and volcanoes erupt. All of this, there are laws that govern the universe. There are the impersonal laws, the laws of gravity, the laws of cause and effect, karma, the law of attraction, some of those, and when you're in the physics, regular physics of things, and then you start to move up into metaphysics, you start to move into the higher vibrational frequencies, and you move into the law of emergence and the law of creation. The law of creation, so there's these wonderful, wonderful laws that govern all life. There's the law of just understanding how your own beingness works. You are a microcosmic expression of the divine. There's an entire universe happening. As Jacqueline was saying in the energy medicine class, we learn about how you've got your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your karmic body, your bliss body, your spirit body. There's the part of you that lives in time and space, and there's the part of you that lives out of time and space. And when we commune with the part of us that lives outside of time and space, through prayer and through meditation, through praying aright. So we want to make sure in our community we're always praying affirmatively. We're praying, as the reading was saying, where we bring ourselves into a vibration of recognizing the divine. Now, recognizing the divine means that you know it in your beingness and in your bones. Your bones know it, your skin knows it, your organ knows it, your emotions know it, your mind knows it, most importantly. So we know that in the physical world, one of the laws that governs humanity is that the mental body of our physical beingness governs how you're going to experience things. That means where your beliefs are. And so the topic for today is, what is the topic for today? It's paying and praying, yielding higher dividends. And so as I was kind of sitting there in meditation, and I was thinking about, when you invest in something in the stock market, the whole reason you invest in anything is to yield something good from it. Right. If you invest in the stock market, you're expecting expansion and profits, maybe you're expecting dividends, you're expecting your portfolio to grow. So investing in your life, investing in the divine is the highest vibrational investment you will ever make. And what are we investing in? What do we invest in on a daily basis? What do we invest in our habits? And what do we invest in our practices? Am I investing in gossiping, which is going to yield you very low dividends if it's negative gossiping? It can yield you very high if it's affirmative, if you're talking about the good of all that you see and know. So we want to kind of take inventory and see, what am I investing in? What activities am I investing in? There's high vibrational activities and there's low vibrational activities, meaning there are things that will take you closer to your oneness with God and realization of your oneness as a divine emissary of the Holy Spirit, and there are things that take you further away from that. Many of us get trapped in this feeling tone of knowing. We kind of get into a status quo, and we start to get mesmerized with the idea that the world is affecting me, when we know in our teachings we affect the world. And so we want to become very conscious of it. Now, we know these laws, we know these principles, but are we actually doing anything with them? I would say to invest in your own life to yield the highest dividends possible, you want to make sure, I would say, if you looked at a percentage right now, like what percentage of time are you spending in negative energy versus what percentage of time you are staying in positive energy? What percentage of, if you were just to take, there's low vibrational food and there's high vibrational food. What percentage are you participating in those? There's low vibrational music and high vibrational music. There's low vibrational activities and high vibrational activities. And if you were kind of look, and you'll know the ones, whenever your body, your physical, emotional, and mental bodies, but most notably your physical body, whenever you feel and relaxed, and you feel spacious and good, and all of the neurotransmitters in your brain are open to clarity, then you know you're headed in the right direction. You've been given this amazing, that divine intelligence that created us in its image and likeness and gave us this big, beautiful vessel. This is like the automobile. This is the vehicle. This is basically just one big machine. We've got this big, huge computer, and we've got all of the organs and tissues and everything that allow our soul to move around in the human form. And it is perfectly just wild that we have all of this. But to understand how all of that works and to understand what affects the biochemistry. Bruce Lipton is one of my favorite, because he's, one of the modern day, he's a scientist by trade, but a spiritualist that has combined, and most of you know about his book, The Biology of Belief, and how he was on the cutting edge of epigenetics and how the environment affects our genes, and that our genes aren't predetermined to express disease or things like that it's the environment and what energies we expose ourselves to that are going to flip on any particular mechanism within our beingness that's going to express as whatever it expresses, as wellness or as not wellness, as fun or as not fun, as joy or as not joy. Those are the things we want to. So the more we marinate in these energies. We want to marinate them, and we do not want to be mesmerized or fall prey to, in this moment, I only have $2 in my checking account, or in this moment, so-and-so said those things to me, and now everything's going to heck in a handbasket. We want to be open to knowing that, at any moment, we return to the beginning. Now, this past week, yesterday and last weekend, I was in a training, and we were going over all of the wonderful energy medicine type areas and the principles and laws of how all of this works. And we were exploring and playing with the law of creation, where you get to really see, how do we actually work all of this? How do we actually get in there and play with the energy? And play and pray, we remember, play and pray are on the same vibrational frequency. So we do want to have the innocence, that playful innocence of the child, and remember that our job is to seek and find good in everything and everyone. So there's gonna be things out there that tell us oh no, they, whoever they is, whether it's they as a group, they as a nationality, they as a race, whatever it is, they, beware of they, because there is no they. When we peel off these meat suits, all you're gonna find is one brilliant starburst of light that loves everything. So we were playing with this idea over the weekend. You want to start to connect with the vibration. So what exists right now in your beingness. Perfect health exists right now in your beingness. Underneath anything that is going on in your life, perfect health. You might not be having the experience of it in the moment, but it exists, and it exists now. Prosperity in your life exists right now. It's not something in the future. When we get into the quantum field, it gets really mind-boggling to think like, oh my God, because the dimension of the existence of you, your beingness, as the most healthy, wealthy, prosperous person in the world exists. And it's not something to become, it's something to be realized. And so we were playing around with that, kind of getting into a meditative state of like, well, what's it like? What's it like to bathe in the energy of knowing, like, I'm connected to infinite prosperity and letting that matriculate. And we do that through a couple ways. You want to ask the question, first of all, sometimes we're in a place where it's like, oh, I can't even get there. So we want to ask for help. Two questions you want to ask are, help me to know whatever it is you want to know. Fill in the blank. Help me to know what it is to feel infinite prosperity. So we know that God holds nothing back. God vibrates at yes. And infinite supply is yours if you should figure out how to play the game of life and understand and open yourself to expand your capacities to feel that prosperity coming in. So help me to understand is an invitation because as we're talking about all this month, free will, free choice. Help me says, I invite you in and I allow you to move through me. Another question you can ask is, show me. I want to know how and I want to know what it's like to be or to have or to know whatever it is. When you interact with the potency of the universe is not inert, it is not stagnant, and it is fully alive. Yes. It is fully alive, and we are to interact. So when we have God winks, the God winks where you feel like, the serendipities and the synchronicities of life, and you just feel like, you're on celestial candid camera. And you're like, wow, do you know what just happened? One of the girls in our class yesterday, she was talking about where she was trying to accomplish something where she needed a particular set of tickets to go, and she had been praying and getting into that vibratory field to go to this event, and then it turns out at the 11th hour that those tickets kind of vanished. And then she was still staying in this field, and even though there was a little bit of doubt, we know about the mustard seed, that you only need the faith of a mustard seed. The mustard seed has more potency. And then some woman came over to her, and just out of the blue, she goes, I was told by God to give you these, and she handed her the tickets that she needed. And it's a true story. And so I'm giving you the very abbreviated version of it. But the bottom line was that last part where the person so the call went out, the faith went out, and it landed somewhere, and then the universe brought it forward for her. We want to be very cognizant of a few things. Our beloved Wayne Dyer, who transitioned not too long ago, he used to say, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And we must be very conscious of that idea. We must really own that because we don't want to let the world of effects flavor, because those are just the filters we look through. We want to remove the filters. We want to have filterless vision, divine 2020 vision. We want to be completely cognizant of that, and you get to choose. So how do you want to see something? How do you want to see someone? And that was another thing we were playing with over the weekend. We were playing with relationships. Relationships are probably one of the most critical pieces of the journey. And so one of the things we were looking at, so we're all to be here. We have a soul cluster. So you have the microcosmic universe of your energy field. You've got all your chakras, all your energy centers, your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. You have all of that, which you have dominion over. That's what you have free will and free choice over. And then there's the interconnectivity of the multidimensional reality of our connectedness to all beings. There's no way you can be separate from anyone. You can think you're separate from someone. You can think like, oh yeah, you got some problems. Oh, and walk down the street and as though that person has nothing to do with you. But that is a physical impossibility. We are all connected, and there's nothing that doesn't reflect something back to you, because we live in a reflective universe. So whatever you see wasn't by just random happenstance. How you feel about what you see is the important part, because that's where you get to come to a choice point. So if I see something going on, whatever it stirs up in here, I want to move into super consciousness, not just surface consciousness, and I want to make choices from there. So we want to become very conscious of how we're working with these energies. There's as I was talking about Bruce Lipton, he says whatever picture we have in our mind, it is translated by the brain into complementary chemistry. So there is a complete biochemical correlation between everything we do. You think something, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, these things get released by what you do and what you say and how you participate. So you are completely in control of the choices you make are going to determine whether you're going to bring on the destructive enzymes that come into your body or the constructive ones that start to rebuild and rejuvenate, of whether you're going to be on a degenerative path or a regenerative path. The regenerative path is our path taking us to God, and that is where we allow ourselves to be still. So I'm going to zero back to the relationships and or circle back. And so what we were looking at is we are not to be here alone. There's the energy body of your own beingness, and then there's the energy body of your soul family and your soul cluster. Some of us just think that that may be our significant other, maybe it's our immediate family, maybe it's a little bit of our extended family, maybe it's our community here, whatever it is, but we're all connected. And so what we did was, we're going to do right now, we did a little exercise where we want to find out, like, how do you want to experience? So most of us, this is where we thwart ourselves in relationships, is we think that so-and-so is just that way. They're just they're cheap, or they're stingy, or, if you have one of those frenemies, they're like, you're a good friend, but boy, do they irritate you. And it's like, oh, I can only take so much of so-and-so, gotta take them in small doses. And I was like, no, okay, what do you want to do about that? You're not at a loss. How do you want to experience so-and-so in your life? And what we do is, what we're going to do now. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of an energy exercise. So whether it's someone that you love and you want to expand more love, you want to take your relationship to a whole new level, or whether it's someone, I'm going to say, if you can think of someone that either slightly irritates you or frustrates you or something, I think it's good to clean those ones up. Yeah. And bring those into a higher vibration. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and just bring to mind, and again, whoever comes to mind, someone that you would like to expand, enhance, and have a good relationship. Even if that's someone that seems like, oh, I don't know if that's possible because you don't know them. And it's like, well, God knows them, and we know who they truly are. So I just want you to bring someone to mind and imagine them sitting out before you somewhere, whether they're 10 feet or 5 feet or wherever you imagine them to be. And then I want you to bring your awareness to your heart center. Bring your awareness to your heart center. And as we open our hearts, we're going to open our hearts to the presence and the power and the light and the love of God. We're going to open our hearts to the power, the presence, the light, and the love of our true divine self, to our soul energy. You may begin to feel tingles or see colors, but as we use free will and free choice to choose to connect with the infinite grace, the infinite beauty, the infinite love of the divine, where there is no judgment. And we open into remembering the truth of who we are as an individualized incarnation of the Most High. And then I invite you to see the person out before you with the intention that we're going to see them as a divine emanation of the Most High. And we know that in the human experience, there are divine ways to express in the world. And so I'm going to invite you to imagine a pure beam of light. It might show up as a golden white light or whatever it looks like, but going from your heart to that person's heart. Just feel feel a heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul, beyond personality, beyond ego, just a soul-to-soul connection, back to the beginning. And in this space, as we begin to acquaint ourselves and reacquaint ourselves with their true nature and our true nature, we then move into the expression as we invite them. And we invite them to be in our lives in particular qualities. We invite them to be in our lives as a reverent, respectful, kind, generous, beautiful being. We ask them to come in. It is mutually beneficial. We invite them into a relationship where we see the divine in them and they see the divine in us. We invite them to participate, that we pull out the best in each other in benevolent and beautiful ways. We allow this relationship to evolve to a higher frequency at a soul level. We don't need to know how, we don't need to know why. We just simply choose to have that person in our lives in a divine, holy way. And as we do, we move into the prayer field even more. We open our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our souls to the infinite grace, the infinite love, the infinite beauty of the Holy Spirit of the living God that is omniamorous, all-loving, omnipotent, all-powerful, that is omniscient, all-knowing, all-good. We open to that, to the great remembering of knowing that we, each and every one of us, including this person, born in the image and likeness of God, has said yes to a greater and grander vision and version of goodness happening through us, growing us and expanding us than ever before. We open to that, and it is from a place of knowing this is the real reality. This is the real reality. Good, grace, beauty, love. We open to that, and we give it permission. We give it permission to overwhelm us, to show us what it is like to have that in the human experience. And we ground it to Mother Earth, into the physical realm, bringing it down to our 10th chakra, our Earth star. We ground it in Mother Earth. See that brilliant starburst of emerald green and white light in the ground beneath you, about a meter or two. Ground that energy. We claim it, and we allow it to be in gratitude and in thanksgiving, knowing it is done already in the mind of God. We let it be, claiming it so by saying, and so it is. Amen. 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 Amen.